one of the most famous English poets. He wrote Paradise Lost, which is regarded as the greatest epic poem in English. He is also a pamphleteer and historian. Let's take a small synopsis about John Milton. As we said, he wrote Paradise Lost. It was one of his greatest epic poems. Together with Paradise Regained, it gained his reputation as one of the greatest English writers. In his prose work, he advocated the abolition of the Church of England. His influence extended through the Civil Wars and to American and French revolutions. Milton's technique. Milton has a special technique in writing. His way is called poetic style of John Milton or Miltonic blank verse. Although he wasn't the first one to use it, but his way of using it was very influential, that it became his style. It became the standard for those attempting to write English epics for centuries later, after the publication of Paradise Lost and his later poetry. Early life and education. John Milton was born in London on December 9, 1608, to John and Sarah Milton. He had an older sister named Anna and a younger brother named Christopher, and several siblings who died before reaching childhood. As a child, John Milton attended the Steeples schools, and in his lifetime he learned 6 languages: Latin, Greek, Italian, Hebrew, French, and Spanish. He attended Christ's College, Cambridge, graduating in 1629 with a Bachelor of Arts degree and 1632 with a Master of Arts. Let's take a small part about his poetry. After Cambridge, Milton spent 6 years living with his family and studying independently. He wrote On the Morning of Christianity, on Shakespeare, L'Allegro, Il Rosie, and Lycidas, an elegy in memory of a friend who drowned. In 1638, John Milton went to Europe, where he probably met the astronomer Galileo, who was under house arrest at the time. He returned to England before he had planned, because of the Civil War there. Let's take some of his political affiliation. Milton was a person who believed in the authority of the Bible and opposed religious institutions like the Church of England and the monarchy, with which it was entwined. He wrote pamphlets on radical topics such as the freedom of the press, and he supported Oliver Cromwell in the English Civil War. And he was standing beside Charles I. During these years, it was the first time for him to marry. He married on the age of 34 and married 17 years old Mary Bowen. They two separated for several years and they married again. At the time of their separation, he wrote the Divorce Tracts. It was a series of publications advocating for the availability of divorce. The couple remarried again and had 4 children before Mary Bowen died in 1652. At the time, in the same year, he got totally blind. In 1656, he married Catherine Woodcock, and she died in 1658. The effect of his blindness. Of course, it was hard as his person to accept his blindness. It wasn't still known. It was like this at that time. Milton's eyesight had been declining step by step until in 1652 it stopped. He became completely blind. He didn't give up. He detected his business correspondence to a transcriber for as long as he could and insisted to make his daughters read for him. He even made a poem to describe his feeling at the time. At the beginning of the poem, he was trying to describe how he felt for being blind, and after that, how he moved. Near the end of 1659, Milton went to prison because of his role in the fall of Charles I and the rise of Commonwealth. He was released probably because of the influence of powerful supporters. And in 1660, the monarchy was re-established with Charles II as king. Paradise Lost. I would like to discuss a part of his poetry, which was one of his greatest epic poems. Paradise Lost. It was published in 1667 in 10 volumes. It talked about how Satan stamped Adam and Eve and their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. In 1671, he published Paradise Regained, in which Jesus overcomes Satan, temptation, and Samson against, in which Samson first succumbs to temptations and then redeems himself. A revised 12-volume reversion of Paradise Lost was published in 1674. John Milton died in November 1674. There is a monument dedicated to him in Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey in London. And here's a summary summarizing Paradise Lost, talking about each character and their role. That's Paradise Lost, the unrevised version, and here